Alright, what's up everybody? Just decided to hop on. Not gonna run my camera today. Didn't really promote it. So if you missed the initial live streaming of this, you can catch it on Twitch as long as it's up. You know, it'll be obviously on YouTube. But I want to play through this game, Alpha Protocol. Think it'll be a little faster than Ghost Recon, which is more of a slow burn. And I'll probably do an actual I'll slap together some gameplay footage, and then do an assessment on Ghost Recon, and do like a little 10-minute video that I'll upload to YouTube. But Alpha Protocol, this is one of my favorite games. Not so much for the accuracy. Like you're gonna see in here that a lot of the stuff they throw in here is not really accurate. So from like a tactical perspective, they didn't do a lot of research, but they did. I could tell that whoever wrote the script, either I don't know if they had a technical advisor that advised them on espionage stuff, but or if they just did research on their own. But a lot of the espionage stuff. Stylized. It's not you're not thinking like Tinker Tailor Spy, Sailor Spy, nothing like that. Not thinking like Lacar, but it's still like more accurate than you'll find in a lot of things. And it's a really fun game. And the big approach that they take for this, when they develop the decision-making system in this game. They had the three JBs is the system they came up with. So at the time, mind you, this came out 2008, 2009. Not 100% sure, but this came out when 24 was still on the air. So the three JBs they went with was James Bond, Jason Bourne, and Jack Bauer. So if you have professional, all of your responses are professional, you're Jason Bourne. If all of your responses are suave, is the option I believe is on there, then you're James Bond. And then if you are aggressive, you're Jack Bauer. Although I would argue that the Jack Bauer responses get a little sociopathic, and I wouldn't go so far as to call Jack Bauer a sociopath. There's some times where he brushes up against that line, but I would not go so far as to say, oh, the dude's an unhinged psychopath. And some of these aggressive responses are unhinged. But for this initial playthrough, I'm just going to play how I would usually play, where I try to tailor my responses to what's going on at the time. If this proves to be popular enough, we could always circle back to this game and try it again when it's we could commit to one. We could say, hey, we're going to do nothing but aggressive responses this time, or we're going to do nothing but suave responses, or we're going to do nothing but professional responses, and play it straight as one of the three JBs. But the way I play, I try to tailor my response to the situation. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'm just gonna play it on easy, honestly. And honestly, that's another thing too. Like sometimes I'll feel like a challenge, I'll put normal. Not really a hard mode kind of guy, but sometimes when I want to just focus on, especially for streaming with commentary, going easy mode allows me to focus more on doing the commentary and not having to lock in on the game. So this is the backgrounds you have here. Your agent history. If you pick soldier, dedicated for service in the armed forces, your commanding officer felt that general infantry was a waste of your potential. Your natural language talent and quick wit caught the attention of a recruiter for an agency that doesn't officially exist. So you have your soldier. Yeah, field agent. No stranger to covert operations, you spent the last several years working for the U.S. State Department on overseas assignments. Capable of being a charismatic presence one moment and an inconspicuous shadow the next, you're always the agent on location, never one hiding behind the desk. Now, I will say this. State Department doesn't employ covert operators like that. They don't employ covert operatives. They do have an intelligence section, and actually, the State Department's Bureau of Intelligence and Research is considered by a lot of people to be one of the most professional intelligence agencies in the United States intelligence community. So there's that. But I kind of have a soft spot for this because I grew up reading a lot of Robert Ludlum. And anyone that's been a fan of Ludlum knows that primarily, like, this is one of the things that changed in the Bourne movies. A lot of, the vast majority, honestly, of Robert Ludlum's characters did not work for the CIA. They worked for a special branch, a fictional special branch of the State Department called Consular Operations. And that's one of the constants between all of the Ludlum novels. There's not a ton of overlap. Obviously, the Bourne series. I'm not talking about the continuations after Ludlum died in '02, but I'm talking about strictly just the books that Ludlum authored. There's not a ton of overlap. He didn't do a ton of sequels. Like the Bourne trilogy's one. You had the Matteries Circle and the Matteries Countdown, which both are pretty good novels. I'd like to go back and reread those at some point. But I haven't read a ton of his novels, but those are the ones that immediately come to mind. But there's not a lot of carryover. Like each novel, basically, the way that Robert Ludlum wrote, you could jump into the novel, his books at any point. And unless you were reading Matteries Circle, Matteries Countdown, or if you were reading the Bourne series, yeah, then there's a certain order that you have to read them in. But everything else, you just jump in whenever. But the one constant, aside from like, there's like one novel he wrote, which was like a comedy thing. Actually, I think he has two novels like that. But the majority of his novels, the character is usually working for consular operations. I know the last novel, which I thought was a pretty good novel. The last novel he was working on before he died, and then I think it was the first novel published posthumously, was The Jansen Directive, which was intellectual property in development initially for The Rock, and then for John Cena, but I think it's in development now. That was a really good novel. I liked it a lot. And Paul Jansen, Consular Operations. There was a couple others. I think I read like the Bancroft Strategy was another one I read. That one, Consular Operations. Like it's a constant theme. So going on a tangent here, but yeah, that's where it's like in reality, the State Department does not employ covert operatives. They do employ intelligence analysts, but they do not employ covert operatives. Your foreign service officers are going to be more focused on diplomacy than covert intelligence gathering. Now, foreign service officers will gather intelligence, but it's all above board, and it's really just basically they're reporting what they observed and what they spoke about. That's it. That's all they really do. They're not digging for intel. They're not running sources. None of that stuff. So that's one area they got it wrong, but because I have a soft spot for Robert Ludlum, I kind of let that one slide. Tech specialist. This one gets actually, the freelancer is the one that gets off the rails. This one gets a little bit off the rails, but having made a mockery of every aptitude test sent your way, it was no surprise that you finished your first PhD before you were legally allowed to buy alcohol. While the CIA initially hired you to design cutting-edge electronics, being cloistered in a lab proved unsatisfying, and your superiors granted you a transfer to clandestine services. When your handler was asked to recommend an agent for a top-secret reassignment, your remarkable fieldwork and your natural grasp of technology made you the obvious choice. So, minus the fact he's a wonderkind, this is actually a fairly grounded background. It is a background you could encounter. The CIA does have the DS&T, which is the Directorate of Science and Technology, and they're the ones that develop the gear that the agency operates. They're essentially the agency's Q branch, but it's not like exploding pens or, hey, here's a rubber duck that's secretly a grenade launcher or anything like that. Most of the time, you're talking about they're developing listening devices, they're developing ways to improve cars so you could say smuggle an asset out of the country, stuff like that. And then just like how you've got the Special Activities Center now, is what it's called now. It used to be called the Special Activities Division, and then before that, the Special Activities Staff. Those are your paramilitary. Well, they break it into two. You have the Political Action Group and the Special Operations Group. Political Action Group, they're focused on influence operations. The Special Operations Group is the paramilitary branch, and those are your shooters. And then, within Special Operations Group, you've got 4 departments. They're called departments now. They used to be called branches. Now they're departments. So you got ground departments, which is your traditional shooters. Most of those guys have a Army or potentially a Marine Corps Special Operations background. They could have like a PJ or CCT background as well. I'm sure some SEALs have made it into ground branch, but ground branch is mostly ground-based covert operations that are paramilitary nature. So you got ground department, you've got air department, which is like the CIA's covert air force. So trying to like insert ground department operators, those are the guys that are going to do that. If you need someone to do electronic eavesdropping in a special denied environment, you might call air department. There's actually a program that was run back in the 80s, which was joint CIA and Army. They've since split, and the Army component became, I want to say, I'm not going to say it because I don't know if that's the actual designation for it, but basically Delta Force has an aviation squadron, and they now basically fly, they do all the flight stuff for Delta. So at least all the clandestine flight stuff. Now your overt attack flight stuff, a lot of that stuff's still handled by the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment. But you also have to understand SOAR handles Special Operations Aviation for basically all of the Army Special Operations community. So I know for covert stuff or clandestine stuff, what used to be known as Sea Spray, that was the joint CIA Army endeavor. The Army component became Delta's aviation squadron. The CIA component became Air Department. And there was an operation back in the 80s where they were flying high above, I believe it was Nicaragua, and they were gathering radio intercepts just by flying patterns over the country in civilian aircraft. So that's something you would see from Air Department. And then you have Maritime Department, which they, as the name suggests, they do maritime operations. A lot of your SEALs are going to get assigned here, as well as your special boat teams. A lot of people forget about those guys, the special boats guys. But yeah, special boats guys, they would have a lot. I would imagine they have a really sizable presence in the Maritime Department because you need someone to drive the boats, and that's what these guys do best. And then the 4th Department, which is why I brought all this up, and this is where this guy could probably do some work, is the Armor and Special Programs Department. And what Armor and Special Programs Department does is they develop vehicles, armored vehicles, whatever the agency needs to do their missions, whatever the Special Activities Center needs to do their missions, all that stuff. And they do R&D for Special Activities Center. So, and those guys are going to be at your top of the top. So they still fall under the clandestine service, the Director of Operations is what they call them now. Back when this game was made, it would have been the National Clandestine Service, and this is still fairly accurate for the time. But 2015, they switched it back to the old name, the pre-2006 name, which is the Director of Operations, and then became the National Clandestine Service, and then back to Director of Operations. Armor and Special Programs Department still falls under the Director of Operations, but they do all the tech stuff. So maybe they employed him in that way. Maybe that's where he was doing that stuff. So, but that one is still fairly grounded. So, Freelancer. This is the one that goes off the rails. Fearless from birth. The only thought that ever caused you an ounce of panic was the thought of a 9-to-5 job. After a remarkable college career, you vanished off the radar of the known world to make your fortune. According to your dossier, you've been a mercenary in Africa, a bodyguard to the Sultan of Brunei, the on-again, off-again paramour of a European princess, and the holder of 3 patents in Great Britain. While the truth is somewhere in the middle, one thing that is clear: your skills caught the attention of some very important people in the espionage world. Oh, I see. Okay. So yeah. So basically, what each of these does is, I want to say, if you pick this one, your points are more heavily leaning towards combat. I think you get a bonus on rifles and submachine guns. If you go field agent, then I can't remember what perks this one gets. I almost never picked this one. Same with this one's obvious. If you go tech specialist, gadgets would be where you can level up quicker. And then freelancer, it's kind of a free for all. You can just mix and match and pick whatever works for you. Recruit. This is for an additional challenge. Choosing this background opens an additional recruit dialogue option during training. Though you've barely logged 3 months working for the Department of Justice. Your mission, drive, and aptitude caught the eye of a clandestine government agency. Your path will be difficult. With little experience of formal training, you will have to rely on your wits while you learn your lessons in the field. Okay, well then, I look at that one and I go, okay, if you worked for DOJ proper, you're either a lawyer, you're probably a lawyer, or you're working for the Office of the Inspector General. Why would that get you picked for covert operations? And barely 3 months, like most places. I mean, if you're a lawyer working there for 3 months, well, I'm like, okay, why are you recruiting this lawyer to do covert operations? That makes no sense. If you were working for one of the agents, even if you were to say, I'm trying to think of an agency under the Department of Justice that would have a short training pipeline. The only one I can really think of for the, I think even, I can't think of one that's under the Department of Justice. All the ones I can think of are under the Department of Homeland Security. So, even back when this game came out. So, yeah, I'm not really, I don't know where they came up with that. Maybe we should have said 3 months working for the agency. But even then, the agency pipeline depends on your background. It's a year or 2 years long. So you have the clandestine services training pipeline, and then you have the professional training pipeline. So if you're a CST, I might be confusing the two, but I want to say if you're a CST, you've already got extensive work experience, and you've already got your college degree, you got extensive work experience, so now they're just teaching you tradecraft. But if you are a PT, a professional trainee, then you are usually fresh out of college, and so the first year, it's a 2-year pipeline for PTs. So that first year is just getting you in a professional mentality and mindset, but get you in this professional mindset to learn the stuff, and then you'd spend a year doing tradecraft, and then you get assigned to do your work. Hey Liz, I see you can't listen right now, but if you review this later on, then you'll be able to listen to what I'm saying. But good to have you here. But yeah, this one, like I said, the writers are hit or miss. But yeah, this one, I believe you barely get any skill points to log. And I believe this one you can't do. Yeah, you can't unlock that to completing the game as a recruit. Choosing this background option opens the additional veteran dialogue during training. You are the Leonardo da Vinci of clandestine warfare, a gifted marksman, a master of stealth, and a tech-savvy engineer rolled into one. Alpha Protocol didn't go looking for you, you went looking for them. Having saved the world once, why not save it again? So that could be another playthrough we can do later on. So I going off of that, I believe the field agent is more stealth-based stuff, so probably hand-to-hand and stealth techniques. And then soldiers for combat techniques, and then freelancers with mix mash. So I'm gonna go this playthrough, I'm going to go soldier, but I'm going to mod my points a little bit because I'm not a fan of the submachine guns in this game. I much prefer, I like rifles, I like pistols. I don't really fuck with shotguns. Just rifles and pistols is what I do. But being a military veteran myself, I'm going to go with armed forces. Okay, so I'm going to remove those. I'm going to just remove. Alright, so now I'm going to, and this is the thing with that. I don't know if they give you more points to work with on Freelancer, but I'm still going to just rearrange it my way. So I prefer to go stealth because stealth is important for a soldier. Pistols. Okay, yeah. Assault rifles. Yeah. Toughness. I go technical aptitude. Toughness. And martial arts. And I have 4 more points to spend. Don't need either of those. Let's see. Yeah, okay, I like that. How about this one? I'll go this one. There we go. Commit change.
Air traffic control, this is Alpha 254, requesting clearance for departure. Roger that. Are clear. Proceed to runway 5. All flight attendants, we are clear for departure. Please take it.
Yeah, some heavy shit.
We'll have more on the story as it develops.
If anyone is to blame for these events, Mr. Thornton, it is you. Alpha Protocol began here, after all.
The gray box. 3 months ago. Location classified.
I feel like I've been hit by a freight train.
Hold on a second. I'm trying to pause this. I want to put on the captions. I turned captions on and it turned it off on me.
Good. You're awake. I wasn't sure how long you'd be under. Those tranquilizers wore off fast.
Where am I?
You're locked in our medical bay. And when the guards find out you've regained consciousness, they'll put you under again.
Don't want that. Any reason why you're helping me?
Mina. Let's just say I'm not a fan of the indoctrination procedure here.
All the more reason to leave then.
And how do you propose to do that? You're locked in. There's a guard outside. Eventually he's going to come check on you. And when he does...
Why wait? Set off an alarm, let him know I'm awake.
What? That'll bring him running.
Saves me the trouble of hunting him down.
Activating the alarm now.
Okay, now we can get to the options. Game. I said on. I just did this too. Okay, good. Now it's on.
Hope you know what you're doing.
That did it.
Guess Sleeping Beauty's had enough. That you, Mike? You just hold on. I'm sending some guards to tuck you back in.
How do I? Oh, E. Okay. I need to turn the alarm off. That's gadgets. Oh, that's how I crouch. Ah! Damn, that must have hurt. He booted that shit with his fucking,
You need to shut off the alarm. The panel's on the wall. Do it by...
Okay. Left click the pin to clip a circuit. Left circuit clip circuits in numerical order to bypass the circuit. Clip in the wrong order would decrease the time left. Running out will trigger an alarm. Okay, let's do it.
Pass on it. Mike, careful. They probably have a guard in the lobby.
I'm looking for a specific one. He does a lot of like karate stuff, but then he does a boxy one that I really like. There we go. That's the one that reminds me of almost of Metal Gear Solid. When he gets the kick, he has a little spin kick too. It's really cool. But I gotta level him up first. Come on, give me the boxing one. A kickboxing one, I guess. Okay, that's good. Let's sneak out of here.
Interesting.
Night night.
It's on.
Let me get closer to him. I might try to stealth takedown, save my bullets. Little James Bond judo action right there. I'll pick those up. Oh, let's talk about
Watch out
that.
for cameras. If they spot you or you destroy them, they'll sound an alarm.
Let's talk about that too. Whoops. Oh, that's how I do it. Okay. So let's talk about that. Tranquilizers. That's obviously a big trope in spy fiction and stealth action as well. But the reality is, hold on a second. He's down.
Mike, they've dispatched a squad to your area.
Don't make this any harder than it has to be.
Ah. Hold on a second. I like that. I'm not a stealthy guy, but I am aggressive. Come on, pop your head, bitch. I got closer. Let's go turn this alarm off real quick. Alright, so, yeah, with tranquilizer darts, not really a thing in real life, and here's why. They're not really a thing because there is no one-size-fits-all for anesthesia. It is a complex, it's a complex science. It's going to be factored by your height, your weight, your age, any conditions you may have, etc. And so, a tranquilizer, an anesthetic that would put me under would kill somebody of a smaller stature, because these drugs, they slow your heart rate down and they like lower your brain. Oh, I'm not gonna say lower your brain. I can't say that much, but I know they slow things down to where you get sleepy, you fall asleep. But the amount of drug it takes to get someone my size under is enough to kill somebody else. And conversely, if you use the smaller person's dosage on me, it will take me a while to get knocked out. So this whole, oh, you got tranked once and you got knocked out. Oh, and like, I guess Metal Gear tries to adapt that by saying, well, if you hit them in the head, it's an instant knockout. Or you hit them in the groin, it's an instant knockout. But you hit them in the arms or the chest, it takes a while to kick in. Okay, they thought about it, but at the same time, the reality is it's not that simple. So, and oh, let me pause and talk about this too. Another trope. Actually, I found this out through doing research for one of my books, because I had it to where I wanted them to kidnap somebody, and I was like, well, maybe if they had a chloroform rag, they could stick it over the target's mouth and nose. That's not an instant knockout thing, and that's another case of where if you use not enough, they're not going to get knocked out. You use too much, you'll kill them. Like, you can, if I remember correctly, you can die from chloroform. So what I found the best way was if you wanted to sedate somebody for transport, if you're kidnapping them, if you're snatching them, what you would do is you would try to hold them at gunpoint discreetly and give them incentive not to yell and scream. Once you get them in the van, you restrain them. And once you restrain them, you have this, you should know your target's height, weight, their health history, all that stuff. Excuse me, going into this. So then you can tailor the anesthetic, the sedative to that person, stick them, inject them, boom, they get knocked out and they stay under. So that would be how you would do it, but that doesn't make for a sexy video game, so we have tranq darts.
Almost gave me the slip. Now we got you.
Look at that guy for a second. But what was the other thing I was going to talk about that's not either? Oh, one other thing let me talk about real quick is I know 24 is guilty of this. A lot of spy fiction is guilty of this. The whole, oh, I'll put them in a sleeper hold and that'll knock them out for hours. As somebody who's been on the receiving end of a sleeper hold, that's not how it works. like how it works is, so when you're doing the sleeper hold, you're doing a blood choke. Like that's what's it's not so much an air choke, it's a blood choke. So what ends up happening, you're cutting off the blood to the brain when you lock them in into a rear naked choke. And so you're cutting off the blood flow to the brain, which is why rear naked chokes are very dangerous to do. Like when I got choked out, it was in high school, and that was a thing that back in the 2000s, at least where I was going to school, it was a cool thing to do, run around, fucking choke people out and shit. But it's very dangerous because you're cutting off blood flow to the brain, which is to say you're cutting off oxygen to the brain. And after about 10 seconds, you're out. But here's the thing that you don't see in the movies, you don't see in TV, is once you release the choke, 10 seconds later, you're back up. So it literally, I remember when I got choked out, it was this big guy on the football team named Bubba. He choked me out, and he came up behind me. He was one of the few people who was big enough to do it. He came up behind me, locked in the rear naked. I'm sitting there kicking and fucking, what the fuck? And I just remember 1 second I'm staring at the locker trying to fight my way out of it. The next second I wake up on the floor like, what the fuck happened? And it felt like I had been out for a few hours. And the reality is I was only out for like 10, 15 seconds. And so once the blood circulation returned to my brain, I woke back up and was just like, what the fuck happened? And they're like, oh yeah, you got fucking choked out, motherfucker. Ha ha ha. But that's what you see a lot of that in the movies where they, like Jack Bauer especially, he loves to just choke people out and they're out for hours. That's not how that works. Once you release the choke, blood's going to return to the brain. Now, if you sit there and you choke them out long enough in a rear naked choke, then you'll kill the brain function and they'll stop the heart, they'll die. So and you can't do it, because this is one thing I thought about too, I wanted to do, but I ended up not doing it because of the reason I'm about to say. There is the thought you could choke somebody out and stick them with a sedative. I suppose maybe if you had like an injection gun, but I don't know, depending on how fast the sedative acts, I don't think that would work. So yeah, choking people out, not really a fucking, here we go. Not really a fucking effective measure. Oh, this is so much easier with a mouse and keyboard. As that fucking lockpick game on a fucking PS3 is so fucking hard. It's so much easier with a mouse and keyboard. Matter of fact, before we go further, I want to change my mouse sensitivity. Let's crank it to here. Actually, let's crank it even more. I don't like how low that is. Let's crank it to here. Yeah, that's better. Okay.
Any sign of our new arrival?
No sign of him yet.
Careful, Mike. Truck coming in. And guards at the exit. Try to stay out of sight if you can.
Let's pick up this. You don't see me, you don't see me. I want to get to that ladder is where I want to get to. That's not going to work. They'll have him keep his watch, how kind. Let's see if I can sneak up behind this guy and take him out. Let's see if anyone sees me. Someone saw something. See how fast I can move. Come up the ladder. coming up the ladder. Okay.
Stop the truck, I say.
Now, Mike, too bad for you.
Bring it, bitch.
Mike, get out of there.
Let's deactivate this alarm. Okay, so I'm not the best at stealth right now, but we're getting the job done. Find 2 passwords in the hidden data system. Oh, okay, so this will move the left side and the mouse will move the right side, okay. Left click and spacebar, okay.
End of the line, Mike. Give it up.
Alrighty.
Mike, stay where you are. Don't.
All right, Mike, that's enough.
That's enough? I think that's my line. What the hell's going on? Why did you drug me?
We need to get the location of this facility confidential, especially if you got kidnapped and questioned.
You mean like now? Real friendly welcome to a new recruit.
We're not in the business of making friends. Judging from your dossier, neither are you.
Let me guess. You're not done hazing me yet.
Yep, I'm gonna ask you some questions, run you through some more tests, then you and I can talk. Face to face. That make you feel better?
No, but some morphine might. Or whatever cocktail you shot into my system. What the hell was that?
That's classified. Although I didn't expect you to shake it off so quickly. I've been reading and rereading your dossier. It says here you've got a military background. That's good. I was in the Marines myself.
I'm sorry.
That a crack agent?
No, sir. I'm sorry you're not with them anymore. Must be frustrating pushing papers and talking to new recruits like me.
Well, your military experience should prove useful. Weapons range and shooting tests should be a breeze. If you gain more experience in the field, you may want to specialize further. But we can leave that until you've got some missions under your belt. That's it. Now I'm going to let you out of the pen here and meet the rest of the crew.
All right. Is there anything I should know?
Nothing you can't find out on your own, and from the staff here. They'll be running you through the basics of weapons, gadgets, and espionage tactics. When you're cleared on the basics, come find me for your assignment. I won't lie to you, Mike. It's a big one, and dangerous. But I think you're the man for the job. Make the rounds. I'll see you soon.
Alrighty, so I got an Alpha Protocol point. Oh, I got 11 Alpha Protocol points. Oh, fuck yeah, okay. I'm gonna do... I'll buy that one. And then I have 5 left. Excuse me. Could go pistols, or could go rifle. Damn, I have to go all, I have to max it out all the way to there to get the fucking 5-point combo I want. We'll go with what pistol?
Big ass screen.
No weapons past this point.
Asshole Parker's gonna be checking the system.
Let's see. I think there's a way to make him walk. Let me see the controls. Key mapping. Sprint crash. Nope, doesn't look like it. I'm gonna run everywhere. Probably one of those things where if I had a controller, I could fucking.
You probably want to change. Go on. Your gear's in the lockers.
Alright, so I'm gonna customize him a little bit. Facial appearance, hair. Actually, facial appearance, select. Fair, pale, very pale. Tan, very tan. I'll go fair. Hair. Short, stylized, disheveled, layered. I like the disheveled beard. Clean shaven, 5 o'clock shadow. Groomed beard, circle beard, goatee 1, goatee 2. Oh, whoa, whoa, I wasn't done. Lumberjack. He grew a beard in 5 seconds. Full beard. Soul patch. Goatee 2, goatee 1. Circle beard. Groomed beard. I'm thinking groomed beard. That's what we'll go with. Hat. Camel cap backwards. Baseball cap backwards. Swamp hat. Beret. Beanie. Looking head wrap. Oh, I can go that way. Okay, that's a lot easier. I like doing this when he's in civilian clothes. Not gonna have him wear this now. He'll go none for now. None for now, it's fine. Eyewear. Select. I'll just have him go none for now. Eyes. Sure, we'll just keep the blue eyes. Okay.
Orientation's not mandatory. You can turn around and go back to Westridge right now. Although that might make him upset.
You might want to take it a little easier when you escape next time.
Local Bay is off limits till further notice. No very supervisor. We have a new fish coming on board tomorrow. Is he working a prison? They refer to him as Michael Thornton. Mike comes to us by the way of the armed forces. His CEO recommended that he'd been taken out of the desert since he's, quote, too smart for catching bullets in Baghdad. He's a college graduate, speaks 5 languages. He's been awarded 3 Purple Hearts. He had scored higher on the physical exam than any of you layabouts. He'll be put through the opening ceremony tomorrow, complete with the hostage scenario and obligatory sight games. Assuming all goes well, he'll be on a short list for Desert Spear. Okay, let's break that down a little bit. College graduate. In my head, because Hollywood loves making military people officers, I'm going to say he's an NCO. I'm going to say he did college and then went to the military because he felt like it. And he didn't go the officer route. I'm going to make him a sergeant. So he's an NCO. Speaks 5 languages. Well, he should have been Special Forces. I don't know if he was or not. That would make him a strong candidate for a program like this. And he's been awarded 3 Purple Hearts. Yeah. So let me put it this way. A dark humor nickname for a Purple Heart is a enemy marksmanship badge. Because you get the Purple Heart when you're injured. Not saying that you shouldn't be recognized for the fact that you were injured in the line of duty. You should be recognized for that. You should be compensated for that. You should get benefits for that. But Hollywood loves to go either, hey, you got a Purple Heart, or hey, you got the Medal of Honor. And it's like, you know, there is a slew of awards along the way, right? And honestly, most soldiers will go their whole careers without ever getting a medal for any kind of valorous thing. I know from the people that I have personally served with, to my knowledge, because I know a lot of the guys I talk to, a lot of the guys I served with, they don't really talk about their decorations, but I had a team leader who had gotten, I want to say, a BSV, Bronze Star with Valor, for a firefight in Iraq where I want to say he engaged an enemy sniper. I haven't talked to the dude in years, so could be misquoting him, could be wrong on that. But dude was a serious deal. He knew his shit. He was squared away troop. It was a solid NCO. But yeah, he had some experience with the 101st, and he had saw some shit, and he I want to say he got a Bronze Star with Valor for that firefight. I could be mistaken. I could be wrong. But I believe that. One guy I know for a fact, they wanted to give him a BSV because another platoon had taken EFP, an explosively formed penetrator. So those are the little IEDs that Iran was shipping to Jaish Ahmadi in Iraq, and so basically you put explosives, you put a copper plate in front of that explosive, detonate the explosive, the copper plate turns into a bullet that cuts through pretty much every piece of armor that we have. And that's where we were getting a lot of our casualties in Iraq, were through EFPs. And one of the Bradleys that this guy I served with was in got hit with an EFP, and it set on fire. And this individual was really cool and calm and collected under fire, raced in, grabbed people out the Bradley, dragged them out, triage, made sure they were good, pulled security, all that stuff. And so I want to say, because he kept running into the Bradley to pull people out, Command put him in for a Bronze Star with Valor. And then, because this is how awards work in the military, because he was a private first class at the time, they said, nah, you're getting bumped down to a fucking ARCOM with Valor, so an Army Commendation Medal. So you can get Army Commendation Medals for fucking a lot of shit. Like, it's pretty easy to get an Army Commendation Medal. But if you add the Valor device to it, then it makes it a little bit more special. And so they gave him an ARCOM with Valor. And that means you did some shit that was under fire, and it was good shit. I feel like he probably should have gotten the BSV. Had he been a NCO, stronger chance he would have gotten the BSV. If he had been an officer, they would have given the BSV, because they hand out BSV. They hand out awards like candy to officers. So that was the military system is definitely discriminatory against lower enlisted, as far as a private or a specialist can get a higher award, but you damn near have to get die to get that higher award. And if you don't die, imagine whatever award is one up more, they're going to give that. If an officer did the same thing, they'll give it that to the officer. So it's just how the system for awards is extremely political. It always has been. Like, look at when Obama was president and they did that whole reassessment of people who were black or Mexican or Asian that got lower awards, and they were denied the Medal of Honor for it because they were like, we're not giving black people the Medal of Honor, we're not giving Mexicans the Medal of Honor, so or they're going to be very stingy with it. So there are a lot of awards that were denied because of racist commanders. One in particular, which I'll get on that real quick, and then we're going to do one more training course, and then we're going to fucking call it for the night. But one was a guy named Paris Davis. I can't remember if he's still alive or not, but if you know the name Billy Wog, then if you've read his book, Hunting the Jackal, you know who Paris Davis is. For those of you who are unaware, Paris Davis was a Green Beret. He was an ODA detachment leader. I don't know if he was the first black ODA detachment leader, but he was one of the first. Like, he was kind of a trailblazer in his time. And there's an operation where Billy Wog, I think he got a Bronze Star or something, but basically, if I remember correctly, they came under heavy fire from the Viet Cong, and Paris Davis and Billy Wog, and there was another Green Beret, were working with local indigenous forces. I want to say Montagnards. I'm not 100% sure. But they were working with local counterparts. They came under heavy attack from enemy forces. I want to say Billy Wog was severely injured in this operation, and Paris Davis helped drag him to safety and such. Like, I remember when Billy Wog died a year or two ago. I remember I read his book, and I remember him crediting Paris Davis with saving his life and talking about how at first Paris Davis was a little inexperienced, which just makes sense because think about this. At the time of this operation, Billy Wog was like a staff sergeant or a sergeant first class. He was a relatively senior NCO. And Paris Davis was either a lieutenant or a captain, so junior to middle grade officer. And so, of course, an NCO is going to have to teach your officers some stuff. But Paris Davis, you said, performed very well under fire. But I think they only gave him the Bronze Star, I think, for his actions. And then the commission that Obama put together reviewed his packet and was like, nah, this guy should have gotten the Medal of Honor. And I do remember, I can't remember if it was Obama or Biden put the commission together. Or maybe Obama put the commission together and finally got rid of his. But I want to say, yeah, it was Biden, if I remember correctly, that awarded it. I gotta see now because that's gonna bother me. Let me look that up real quick. Okay, he was. So it was 3 March 2023. So that's when he got it. So that meant that was under Biden. So Biden gave him the Medal of Honor. He did. Okay, so I don't think he was the first Black Special Forces officer. It would have mentioned it here, but commissioned the Reserve Component 59, earned Ranger and Airborne qualifications at 60, Special Forces qualifications 62. First, he did tours in South Korea, South Vietnam, and Okinawa. His second tour in Vietnam was in 65, and in 18 June 65. Davis and 3 other special forces led the Arvin 883rd Regional Forces Company in an attack on a Viet Cong base. Let's look at his Medal of Honor citation. Yeah, I'm just going to read this out loud pretty quick. Actually, let me check something. Oh, let me just say this real quick. So, apparently, in 65, he was nominated for the Medal of Honor. They say they lost the paperwork, but they gave him the Silver Star and Purple Heart for his actions. And then, so it wasn't Obama that ordered it. It was Biden's. Was it Biden's or was the? Okay, so he was acting Secretary of Defense under Biden, and Biden he ordered them to review it, which also should be said. This guy Christopher Miller was also Special Forces, so you probably heard of Paris Davis, and he was like, "Hey, review this guy's paperwork," and they reviewed it, and then they said, "Yeah, he got the Medal of Honor," and so it says, let me check if Wog is mentioned here. Yep. Oh, Master Sergeant Billy Wog. Okay, so yeah, so he's a senior NCO at this point. Wog was. So let's look up the Medal of Honor citation. President of the United States of America, authorized by an act of Congress, March 3rd, 1863, has awarded, in the name of Congress, the Medal of Honor to Captain Paris D. Davis, United States Army, for conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity at the risk of his own life above and beyond the call of duty. Captain Paris D. Davis, Commander, Detachment Alpha 321, 5th Special Forces Group Airborne, 1st Special Forces, distinguished himself by acts of gallantry and intrepidity above and beyond the call of duty while serving as an advisor to the 883rd Regional Force Company, Army of the Republic of Vietnam during combat operations against an armed enemy in the vicinity of Bong Song, Republic of Vietnam, on June 17th through June 18th, 1965. Captain Davis and 3 other Special Forces advisors accompanied the Vietnamese 883rd Regional Force Company on its first combat mission, a daring nighttime raid against a Viet Cong regional headquarters housing a superior enemy force. Captain Davis's advice and leadership allowed the company to gain the tactical advantage, allowing it to surprise the unsuspecting enemy force and kill approximately 100 enemy soldiers. While returning from the successful raid, the Regional Force Company was ambushed and sustained several casualties. Captain Davis consistently exposed himself to the hostile armed small arms fire to rally the inexperienced and disorganized company. He expertly directed both artillery and small arms fire, enabling other elements of the company to reach his position. Although wounded in the leg, he aided in the evacuation of other wounded men in his unit, but refused medical evacuation himself. Following the arrival of air support, Captain Davis directed artillery fire 30 meters within 30 meters of his own position in an attempt to halt the enemy's advance. Then, with complete disregard for his own life, he braved intense enemy fire to cross an open field to rescue his seriously wounded and immobilized team sergeant. I believe that's Billy Wog. So, while carrying the sergeant up the hill to a position of relative safety, Captain Davis was again wounded by enemy fire. Despite 2 painful wounds, Captain Davis again refused medical evacuation, remained with the troops, fought bravely, and provided pivotal leadership and inspiration to the Regional Force Company as they repelled several Viet Cong assaults on their position over a period of several hours. When friendly reinforcements finally arrived, Captain Davis again refused medical evacuation until he had recovered a U.S. advisor under his command who had been wounded during the initial ambush and presumed dead. While personally recovering the wounded soldier, he found him severely wounded but still clinging to life. Captain Davis directed the helicopter extraction of his wounded colleague, not leaving the battlefield himself until after all friendly forces were recovered or medically evacuated. Captain Davis's heroism and selflessness above and beyond the call of duty at the risk of his own life are in keeping with the highest traditions of military service and reflect great credit upon himself, his unit, and the United States Army. So that's yeah, he's a fucking badass. And like I said, I was like, yeah, I think Billy. So yeah, Billy Wog did say that Paris Davis saved his life. So let me check if there's during the raid, many of the regional force soldiers refused to fight, and most of the A-team were injured by VC fire, including Wog, who was shot multiple times and left between the VC and the U.S. South Vietnamese forces. Wog was later rescued by Davis under fire. He spent much of 1965 and 66 recuperating at Walter Reed Hospital in Washington, D.C., eventually returning to duty with 5th Special Forces Group in 1966. He received a Silver Star and a Purple Heart, his 6th, for his Battle of Bong Song. I will say this, like we talked about how the Purple Heart is the enemy marksmanship badge, but you get 6 of them. Billy Wog was a fucking badass. He was a dude that was just really fucking tough to kill. And if you don't know who Billy Wog is, also keep in mind, Billy Wog inserted into Afghanistan after 9/11. Now, keep in mind, let's see if you can do the math here. So we're talking about he was in Vietnam as a master sergeant, so he's near the top of the food chain in 1965. Take a minute, wait for it. Billy Wog was born in 1929. When he inserted into Afghanistan, he was 71 years old. So they didn't want him to go. They're like, nah, you stay here, stay here. Billy Wog was like, I'm going to fucking Afghanistan, and you're not gonna just treat me as a mascot. I'm going to Afghanistan to do work. And the motherfucker went to Afghanistan at 71 years old and was doing intelligence work in Afghanistan. Like most people, he did more in a lifetime than like 20 men do in a lifetime. So this guy was, yeah. But yeah, he died in 2023. He was 93 years old. So all the shit he went through, he actually lived a quiet life at the end of his life and die in his 90s. So Wog was cremated. A portion of his ashes returned to a Bastrop while in accordance with his wishes. The remainder was scattered by a halo jump team and a parachute jump over Rayford Drop Zone in Rayford, North Carolina. Let's look at his rewards real quick. CIB, SF tab, Master Parachutist, Free Fall. He was actually one of the first people to do a combat fucking halo jump. He was one of the people that. So like think of the Metal Gear Solid series, how Big Boss was the first Halo jump. Big Boss was the first combat Halo jump. In real life, Billy Wog is Big Boss. 7 service stripes. So I think each one is 3 years of service. So that's 21 years. The minimum. Less than 24. Silver Star, Legion of Merit. Bronze Star with 3 Oak Leaf clusters. Purple Heart with 7 Oak Leaf clusters. Air Medal, Arcom with V device. Yeah, this guy is just a fucking stud. But, oh yeah, okay, so neither here nor there. Okay, so got that done. Let's go do the combat training, and then we'll call it a night.
Hello? Anybody shooting in here?
Agent Thornton. Hello.
Hey, you're the one I spoke to when I woke up in the medical bay. Glad that wasn't a hallucination.
It may have been. Do you remember my name? Or do I need to write it down for you?
Mina, right?
That's right. Good to see you've recovered from the medical room with your memory intact.
Memory intact? Speaking of which, I don't remember where I left my keys or my passport.
Confiscating personal items is quite routine. I wouldn't worry about that. But let's get down to the task at hand. I'm here to run you through the weapons training and test your accuracy.
All right, what's the next step?
Just head through the door to the firing range, and I'll keep in contact with you over the earpiece. Head over to the table, get your weapons, and we can begin.
Okay.
The standard field agent package includes a pistol, SMG, shotgun, and assault rifle. Each has its strengths and weaknesses. Let's start with the pistol. Equip the pistol, then aim down range and take some shots at the target. Good aim. Now, steady your aim for a few seconds. Then fire. Precision shots can take down a target quickly. Now, let's move on to the submachine gun. Now let's empty the clip. Let you get a feel for the recoil.
There you go. I hate what they call it. It's not an M1 Garand, it's a MP7.
Now take cover. Still using cover, take some shots at the target. Accuracy's terrible when firing blind, but it can get the job done, eventually. Now try popping out and focusing your aim. You can use cover to your advantage here. I've unlocked the door to the tactical range on your right. Let's see how you do against some moving targets. Now, with the pistol, you'll want to be patient and attack when targets get close. Good. Now for the shotgun. Holding the trigger steady and firing can knock down even heavily armored targets. Good. Next. Now for your submachine guns. If you're trapped in close quarters with multiple opponents, the SMGs can help clear the room quickly. Not subtle or quiet, but... And that's enough. For long-range encounters, the assault rifle's the key. It's accurate, powerful. Just be sure to line up your shots carefully. Watch for attackers from above. They may be out of reach, but not rifle range. That's it. Take the ladder, head up and back. All done.
Let's see how I did. Ow, that makes my fucking...
Good, Mike. I'm logging the results now.
Alright. Is somebody out on the course?
Darcy. He's trying to beat your time.
Darcy? Who the hell is that?
Our tech instructor. Very insecure.
Well, how's he doing?
Not well. He's distracted.
Why?
As soon as he knew you were talking to me, Mike, he was in here in a second, in case he saw you as a challenge for my affections. It's like a cage match with you boys.
So how'd I do on the course?
Calling it up now.
I can do better.
That's pretty good. Not the best on record, but still. You can give it another run if you want. The course should be free.
I can beat my own score, no problem.
Okay, let's give it another go. If you do better on this run, your new score will overwrite the previous one.
I've unlocked the door to the tactical range on your right. Now for the shotgun. Holding the trigger steady and firing can knock down even heavily armored targets. Good. Next. And that's enough. For long-range encounters, the assault rifle's the key. It's accurate, powerful. Just be sure to line up your shots carefully. Watch for attackers from above. They may be out of reach, but not rifle range. That's it. Take the ladder, head up and back.
Let's see how that
All
did.
done.
They did better on that one.
Good, Mike. I'm logging the results now. All right, let's see here.
119. There you go. Better.
That's one of the most impressive scores I've seen. With that in mind, you did so well. I'm wondering if you'd be up for something more challenging. A bonus round.
This course is a joke. Did you scale it down for that jackass? I could walk the rest of the way.
Jackass? Now I'm hurting.
So will Darcy. Did I mention we don't use live rounds? They still sting, though.
I'm listening.
Go in there, and if you can hit Darcy where it counts, that'd be worth a recommendation in my report. And worth some rep with Westridge. And it'd be earned.
Sure, sounds good. Any preference on weapon?
These targets are pretty easy for someone to hit. Thornton could have aced this thing blind.
Give me the gun.
Let's start with the pistol again. Don't worry. We're using tranquilizer rounds, so you won't be doing any lasting harm to your targets. Besides, turnabout is fair play. They drugged you, so...
Oh, there he is.
All right, you're all done. Head on back.
Yeah, he deserved that. He was a dick.
All right, let's see here. Well done. Critical hit. I don't think I have to worry about Darcy coming by again.
Anything else I can do?
No, Agent Thornton. Mission accomplished. If you haven't seen Westridge yet, you may want to pay him a visit after all the training is done. You've certainly aced this exercise.
So save last checkpoint, empty slot. Alright, let's see what happens if I let's see if I load it from there, because we're about to call it for the night, but want to see where I'm gonna load in. Okay, yeah, so we're good. This will load exactly where I left it off last time. That's good. New. Oh yeah. They get kind of in depth here, so. Let's see. So we got this guy. Let's see, a 20-year veteran of the CIA. So 25 years 25 years in the intelligence community, including the 5 years in Alpha Protocol. He's 48. That makes him 25. No, doesn't make it 20. It makes 23. 23. I like this is how my writer brain works. I'll sit there and poke holes. So if he served 20 years in the CIA, 5 years in the Alpha Protocol, that means 23 when he joined the CIA. He got a degree in international affairs. Well, it could be he enlisted at 18, and then over 5 years and one tour of, or over 5 years in the Marine Corps, he used like tuition assistance to get his international affairs degree. Plausible. Difficult, but plausible. Gotta give it to him. Darcy. That's the guy I just shot in the dick. So it looks like 26 years old, 4 years. So yeah, I would say this guy, remember how I was saying earlier, you have the professional trainee program and then you have the clandestine service training program. I don't think this guy's a CSC. I think he's a PT. I think he got out of college, did 2 years training at the CIA, did 2 years working for the CIA, and then spent the last 2 years at Alpha Protocol. So I think that's what that probably came down to. 26 years old. Mina's 27. Let's take a look at her. Analyst first, tactician second, field agent third. She's been with AP for a year, working primarily in encrypting and decrypting information. Assists Alan Parker on intel assignments, but is also called upon to help train new recruits in firearm basics. Her data analysis led to the discovery of several missing advanced prototype missiles from Halbeck stock, and the evidence she obtained forms the basis for Desert Spear, the mission to track down and deal with Sheikh Ali Shahid. I don't like the fucking name Shahid, because Shaheeds or Shaheads are the drones that they use to kill Ukrainians that Iran made and then sold to Russia. So, fuck that. Mina was with the NSA. Well, it's not the National Security Administration. So, NSA is National Security Agency. The DEA would be the Drug Enforcement Administration. So, let's mix those two. It's not the National Security Administration. It's the National Security Agency. So she's with the National Security Agency for several years before coming to Alpha Protocol. They asked her to join out of college right after a calculus professor had told her, a friend at NSA, about her mathematical ability. All her reviews at NSA bordered on above average to outstanding, but eventually she decided the work was not for her and resigned. According to records, Alpha Protocol contacted her the hour after she placed her resignation letter on her superior's desk at the NSA. Once Alpha Protocol explained the purpose and their purpose and assignment, she agreed to join their agency. So, 27 years old. She's been with Alpha Protocol for 4 years, so 26 would be when she joined Alpha Protocol. I'm going to guess she did 4 years at the NSA. I'm not seeing anything in here about a military background. So I'm guessing, yeah, went to college, mathematical wonderkind, and then 4 years at NSA, 1 year at Alpha Protocol. That'd be my guess. Let's take a look. All the only facts we have: Alpha Protocol classifies them as rogue agents to outside intelligence agencies. Agents that have gone Alpha Protocol are considered acting alone or are traitors, so that if their operation is discovered or goes awry, no blame will fall on the United States. So the deniable assets is what they are. And very illegal from what it looks like. Unless both the Senate and House, particularly the House, subcommittees on intelligence are in on this. This is illegal. You can't do this. Let's see. Ring of stars and arrows represents patriotism and military might. The eagle's talent is strength. The serpent is either its enemy's pursuit or stealth or subterfuge. And the loose translation of the Latin phrase beneath it, which is quo nemo sequi potest, where no one could follow. But yeah, that's a brief introduction into Alpha Protocol. You can see some faces in the background of people we're going to encounter in our travels. And yeah, it's I'm looking forward to beat this game again. It's been several years since I've beaten this game, and I think really fun game. Action espionage RPG. So they don't get everything right, but you can tell there's areas where they've done research and there's areas where they haven't done research. So looking forward to playing more of this game. I'm looking forward to introducing people to this game, because if this game interests you, I do believe it is in the Steam store. I'm going to verify that for you right now. I know it's in the Good Old Game store. Yep. Actually, and disclaimer, I'm not being paid by Steam or Obsidian Entertainment or Sega to promote this game. I just think this is a really cool game, and if you like action thriller stuff, if you like RPGs, especially if you like my books, if you're a fan of my books, this is definitely a game that is fun to play. Yeah, that right now, for the next 6 days, 50% off. It's $9.99, so $10 you get this game, and it's still on the Steam store. I'm believe it's on the Good Old Game Store. Fun game, and we're gonna see some interesting decisions. Like, we kind of took it slow today, but it's might play some more tomorrow. I actually might promote it more tomorrow, and we'll get more into it. We'll actually get through all the training stuff. We'll get into Michael Thornton's exposure to the field, so on and so forth. But yeah, really fun game. I'm looking forward to beating it again. Kind of tempted to do it blind. I remember the first time, I think I've beaten it like twice. And I've consulted guides so I could figure out how to romance people and all that stuff. Because you can romance characters too. Like, actually, I think there's an accomplishment there's, if I remember correctly, 1, 2, 3. I think there's 4 people you can romance, and I'm pretty certain there's an accomplishment for romancing all 4 of them. I could be wrong. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. If you tuned in, looking forward to getting more of this game. And like I said, I will be at some point. I'll probably be playing Ghost Recon on the side on my own, and then looking for some good gameplay footage. Or I might just play the game through, focus on playing the game through, unlocking all the missions, and then I could go back and replay missions, and I can record gameplay footage for you and slap it together into a video, and we'll throw it on there. But thank you for tuning in, and I will see you guys.